can't do the time. Don't tell me how you're off and down. When you're smiling in my face, but you play me like a clown. It's your fool, bitch. So just step back. Or I'm mad dad when I come down straight. I thought you were my piece, but you play me out. Now I'm mad as hell, and I'm full of doubt. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. I'm back on the scene, it's time to get mean. I'm a lean, revolution machine. Won't want people stay, they sway. War today is good as any day. Y'all feel slightly this, let's resist. Raise your fist and pump like this. Promises all the time. Don't cross the line, and you know it's mine. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll.
What's happening, boys?
Hello.
Unmuted. What's up, guys?
Welcome to your Tuesday sesh. I'm rolling one up right now. I'm running so late. I got one. Roll one up right now.
No, you're here now, so you're not running late. You were running late, but you can only run late.
Crazy delay.
What's that, Paco?
I got a crazy delay right now.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I'm probably on a delay also.
Well, if we were all on a delay, it'd be okay.
Yeah, why don't we all just delay? Everyone delay. Everyone ready? Go. Delay.
Paco did delay. How do you do that? It looked like. I started too early.
I'm rolling the fattest blunt ever with wax in it.
Look at the delay in my hands, dude.
Right.
It slowed down on my end. Let me leave the studio and pop back in. I'll be back in a second.
Oh, this smells lovely. This is some lemon cherry gelato. The last of it.
I got you, Lefty. I just, make you dinner first and wait out the traffic.
So younger brother Kevin told me you should take some of your finer moments and make them into shorts. Okay. You know what that means? I mean, I think I do.
Lefty likes wearing shorts.
I'm wearing shorts right now.
Yeah.
See?
Bungholio in the house.
Yo,
The police officer came up to Bongholio after the council meeting and said, "I never heard a harmonico solo at a council meeting before." That was great. He was laughing. He loved it.
Well,
Listening for everything.
it's a great. You got so much time.
Winning
You got-
hearts and minds.
You got so much to do, and then when you're done, just keep playing till somebody tells you time's up.
That's what he did.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought. It was good. It was sort of like better, you know. But I'll tell you, the timing of the three of you and placement seemed to really work well. Because Christo was, you know, by his standards, pretty low key for him. And, you know, I felt people kind of leaning in because I think they knew he was being actually pretty straight down the middle for him. But then, holy shit, Lefty, you come and you didn't fire one across the bow, man. You started in on him. But I got to tell you, it was one of the more masterful 3 minutes and something that I've ever seen at a, well, not council meeting. You don't see that kind of stuff at a, like a committee hearing or something, you know, because you're not allowed that sort of force. But I couldn't believe it looked like, what do you call it? Like you were looking at a green screen picture of them. Everybody was so still. You didn't see anybody looking at anybody else on the committee. It's like they didn't want to be. Oh, yeah, like what do you call them? A pointer. You know, a dog catches something, he does that. They were all just afraid to move, I think. But see, that's the kind of thing. Again, getting back to the shorts, stuff that strings along, and you can't make them go forward or backwards. You can just start from the beginning over again and stuff like that. And for some reason, you almost want to stay long enough to see what's going on. But no matter what minute you might segment out of that, it is rather mesmerizing because you were like the surfing equivalent of really being just right ahead of the tube, you know. You didn't get sucked up in it and you didn't get too far out in front. It was the definition of righteous anger. And then when all that was done, Mikey, you go, and it kind of sewed the two things together with something kind of special in its own way. It was really good. But in the end, it was my prediction, we're going to see Zoom brought back to Sayreville, and not in a real long time, like way next year or anything. I think that might have actually gotten through. I'm pretty jaded, so I don't think that a lot of times. You know, and you can just, well, they let you punch yourself out, burn yourself out, and you go home, they go home, and you know how you can kind of tune something out?
They usually do. They're usually very nonplussed. The mayor is always nonplussed, but he definitely looked at me when I mentioned his son. He looked at me and stared at me, and I stared at him.
You didn't get interrupted once, but it was almost like, you know, and that's you, you know, but it wasn't. That's you. You know, it was that's you. It was the equivalent of a movie scene where they try to capture that, but not too far over the edge.
Yeah, I got it on take one. I did good today. Yesterday.
Oh man, you did. Yeah, but you know, I know
Mikey didn't get me too high. That's why.
We both. Well, you know what? Take that to heart because that may well be some of it. Seriously, you got to do some introspection here. It's called a post-mortem in this case.
Yeah, no, I know.
You know, and you know, say that again. Mikey convinced you not to get too high?
No, we smoked a joint, and I was going to smoke a joint to my head with wax in it, and I didn't. I just smoked his, and then we went inside.
I just wanted somebody, if you might made that suggestion to you, because I did see you take one suggestion. Oh,
we got pretty lit before South River.
Lefty, somewhere you could go back to when you were telling me that you were at that meeting in Sayreville, and every time you push that button in your hand, like, you know, you put your hand up and they take it off, and then you put it up and they take it down, and you put it up and I suggested to you, well, when you get back there, I'm sure you will, walk in, sit down with your hand up and start talking to him.
I did. I
But,
did.
well, I know you did. But I remember, if you look back,
Best idea ever.
this is the reaction you had when I mentioned it, like you envisioned. I was picturing this. I was wondering when it got to it if you were going to go, and I put it up and you take it down. I put it up and you take it down. I put it up and physically show the.
I needed a camera hand. Sorry, I couldn't do that.
Oh, you had a camera. Okay, yeah.
I would have.
You could have had Christo or well, he already went. You could have had him help you out and just sort of meander back up. And each time you did that, like like a magician's assistant walks on and does something and walks back off. It was I just kind of want to break it down because you're going to continue to get shit about being a circus act and a bunch of clowns and whatever by people who stand to lose something by that. Generally people who don't want to be on the other side, because if that was true, it's like every meeting needs some entertainment and you then would be providing that. So either way, you're a win situation, even if they don't like it. And call you clowns. You go, well, who doesn't like clowns? Thanks. But the comeback for somebody like me when I try to defend you when it's worth defending you, I don't defend you for everything, but I have in the past gone to back and bat and went out on a limb, and you made me look good ever since. So thanks for that. I don't get in particular what I'm talking about because it involves another organization I'm part of. Oh, sorry, was that like a clue? Yeah. But anyway, it's sort of like there is a place for that, and there is a place for Rattari. It's, I think, the same sort of thing, not on that level. But I really want them to get Zoom access now because you could pin that as a success. It's not going to happen without you guys doing that. It's just not going to happen. Now, Marina could make that happen herself. She's a resident of Sayreville, right?
Yes, she sure is.
Yeah. So, like, to have representation like this, that's a pretty square deal. I loved it. I thought it was like, I myself have never matched that in a situation like that. That's just what I always hope to end up accidentally connecting everything right, like you were reading it off a script or something, But then some of it, it got easier, when you quote passages from the Bible and name them and all that, This time when you flowed through it, there wasn't hesitation.
Well, they started it. They started with the prayer, and I'm like, well, you're praying, but why?
I didn't know
they praying to.
They started it with a prayer.
Yeah, you started your meeting with a prayer. Well,
and then you come back and you didn't attack anybody's Christianity there. You sort of pinned it on them. That relative.
I've been video this whole time.
What kind do you want?
American Spirit Yellow. Get yourself whatever you want.
That was some show.
What was that? Yeah, that was fun. I love looking into the eyes of Mayor O'Brien.
What did the eyes look like when you said,
like a doll's eyes?
I'm fighting for your son. And then I was like, what a delivery. That got from my end,
I don't know anything about his son, if he's verbal, nonverbal. I don't know. I hope he's verbal, and I hope he watches the meetings because he's going to say, hey, Pop, what was that guy talking about?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, and I maintain that it's fair game to affect somebody's family when what they're doing is affecting other people's families. That's why when I picketed Congressman Frank Pallone's house, I relied on that. I said all his decisions now are affecting people in their homes, and their families. So I get to respond in kind. What do you call that? Proportionate response. even though it doesn't seem like it, but you can certainly draw it up to be that way. What do you think that costs them for Zoom meetings? It can't be like they're even saving money, not negligible, you know?
I mean, at most, probably a Zoom business account to have people in there. I mean, that's about it. And I think Zoom accounts are free.
Yeah, I don't know how. Yeah, well, whatever they have to use technologically speaking that they wouldn't use otherwise. I don't care what you factor in. That's pretty bargain for ensuring access of people who have a hard time getting there. And look at the money. There's no gas. There's no wear and tear on your car. All sorts of stuff better. They just don't want people being there. They have to do this. You think if they had a choice on how many meetings they could have, it would be this? I don't think there's much of a choice. That's what they do. You know.
Oh, here we go. Check this out. When we realized the borough attorney was the same attorney from Edison Board of Education that Christo won his ethics complaint against, I said, God is on our side. And then the church bells rang. We all laughed and smiled, and O'Brien looked at us and shrugged. That was a great moment right there.
There you go. See, you don't get that from the replay.
That was good.
Well, it is. That's something I think this should be kind of spread around any activists or advocates. You know, when that's available to do that and they have to sit there and listen to you, find out where the edge is, you know. So you guys live on the edge, one side or the other. It's a very, very crowded area. But I think in the end, it does get stuff done.
Steve Ronco says O'Brien is gangsta.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
maybe 30 years ago.
Wasn't that old guy saying that he was involved in that scandal at the strip club in Southampton?
Sure did.
That wasn't that long ago. That was like maybe 7, 8 years ago. 10 years ago, maybe.
I don't know how he got that job back after all that.
I don't even know.
All right. I get to go out in my car and smoke now. Whoop, whoop.
let's time this. How long did that take?
Oh, wow. Steve Ronco. So Steve Ronco from downtown. We should send him a bag of dicks. They did that in Oceanport. It was gummy dicks. I forget who did it, but it was pretty funny. To Oceanport.
Really?
And it wasn't Jeff. Or was it? That's something Jeff would have done too, because Jeff was gangster. Let me tell you who was gangster. Jeff Oakes was gangster. That man right there, yeah. Gangster AF. OGGAF.
NS.
That's funny. Oh, there he is. He caught me before I went out to my truck. That's good timing. Yeah. Bang Julio.
Yo, what up?
Yo, that was so much fun at the council meeting. Oh, man.
It's fantastic.
That was. I don't know.
Yeah, that was my the favorite part was when we realized that the borough attorney was the same attorney from the Edison BOE that Christo just won his ethics complaint against. And when Lefty says out loud, God is on our sides, and then the church next door to town hall starts ringing the bells.
Holy crap. So when did Christo win that? When did that happen? How long ago?
3 weeks ago.
And when did you find out in proximity to the meeting itself last night? During it, just before? I mean, when?
Well, he realized, see, every time I've been to Sayreville, the last 4 meetings I've been to, every time was a different borough attorney, which is weird in itself. So once this guy walked in, Crystal goes, "Oh, that's the attorney from Edison's Board of Education. That's the guy I just won my ethics complaint against." And we're like, "What?"
Well, that really adds some firepower to it because, like when you hear like El Rampador use the word tort claim or whatever, it's sort of like it sounds a little stronger when there's somebody in that trio of a group there that already had an ethics complaint filed and won
Successfully,
successful against somebody that's, feeling the whiff of, wow, this would be horrible if they actually followed through and won. How embarrassing. I got to tell you, I'm curious to see how this works out and how long it takes, because how could they not want to say, listen, the best thing we do without just let's get it done quietly. Let's get this ready, because I don't know, it would.
You know what's wild though, Jim? The woman they had last week, she was younger. I'd never seen her before. I would imagine she's, new to the game. She seemed like she was in her young 20s, and those are the perfect job for lawyers. It's a nice cushy job. Sit on the town council, be the borough attorney, and these aren't lawyers that go and care about constitutional rights and stuff like that. They're just looking for cushy jobs. And the fact that the mayor was trying to use her to have her name, put her name on her stamp of approval on it, not allowing people to speak unless they identify themselves. It's a shitty thing to do to your constituents in that situation. He's trying to get her to do the wrong thing. It's just wrong.
She was more than happy to oblige.
More than happy. Even though and Jim, I mentioned to her, I wanted to give her some background. I said, first off, it's anonymous communications are heavily protected under the First Amendment. I told her, I said, I just had a court case in July of 2023, and part of the judge's ruling in that case was that anonymous communications are permissible under the OPMA. So here I'm giving her this background. I'm telling her all of these reasons why it's allowed, and she had no problem trying to enforce it. Once they realized that the cops weren't going to enforce it, they weren't going to remove us, that's when they shut the meeting down.
So what was I
still
hearing?
can't believe that happened.
Where is it? Somebody floated something about you can get your 2 extra minutes at the discretion of the person leading a council meeting. In other words, if they didn't like what you were saying, you would have 2 minutes less than people who they liked what they were saying.
Well, the ordinance that they have on the book is totally illegal, because what it says is that the mayor can decide if anyone else needs an extra 2 minutes at the end of everybody's public comments.
Okay.
So the mayor, that's just totally illegal. The mayor doesn't have protections on how does he decide on who has enough value to speak for another 2 minutes? That's just an illegal, unconstitutional ordinance. And that's why Crystal brought that up, and he raises a great point. It's not legal.
Well, yeah, logically speaking, yeah. I mean, if you just phrase it like, okay, everybody gets 3 minutes to speak. If I like what you're saying, I'll give you an extra 2. Or everybody gets 5 minutes. If I don't like it, I'll take away 2. It's the same thing. It's one person in charge of the value of people's statements as it relates to the First Amendment. You can't, obviously, it makes sense to a lay person. You don't have to know much to say, yeah, that makes sense.
But you know what? I mean, these towns do whatever the hell they want. 3 minutes is not a lot of time to that's the toughest thing about, like last night, the toughest thing was trying to fit everything in 3 minutes. Now, yeah, I was there to play a song, but I also wanted to mention some things. I wanted to shout out to the Sayreville police Chief Dan. I wanted to thank them. I forgot to do that.
Ooh.
You know, the 3-minute time restraint is tough.
Yeah, I know from committee meeting experience, putting together something to say, you have to have the stuff circled that you don't have time to say it in such an order. You'd like to save the best for last, but you can't afford to. And no matter how you work it out before you get there, it always takes longer. Always, every time, always.
Yeah, 3 minutes is not a lot of time. The only town that's less than that is Lavalette. They give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes. But what's messed up about what they do in Lavalette is they only do that to non-residents. Totally illegal to do. The mayor has a little hourglass, and he only flips it over for non-residents. Residents get to speak for however long they want. Non-residents, and he does it every meeting. And he doesn't care that it's like illegal. Hey, go file an OPM. Go file some OPA requests. Go file a complaint. He doesn't care.
That's crazy.
Well, okay then.
I know in South River that I was actually shocked at the time for South River. South River's time for public comment is 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Yeah. I was like, what the hell? Like, that's so long. I really ran out of time for myself. I ran out of words to speak to fill the allotted time. I was like done in 4 minutes, and I'm like, all right, later.
What was the issue in Tom's River that you were there for? I mean,
no, South River.
What's our?
South River? South River, New Jersey.
Oh, South River. Okay, yeah. So,
stop sign. I'm trying to get a stop sign put up here on Cam Avenue.
I get it.
Very dangerous intersection.
Yeah, right. Man, well.
See, you give someone 5 minutes, and might use their whole 5 minutes. You give someone 10 minutes, they might only go 4 minutes.
Yeah, right.
And I went off the top of the head. I winged it. I didn't even write anything down. I was just like, all pure, just like straight emotion, because I almost get run over daily. I'm just like, nah, fuck this. I'm just going right off the top of the dome. I'm just gonna wing it, and I did pretty good, I guess you could say. Lefty was there. I did pretty decent. You know, I didn't curse at anybody, which was good. I'm usually a trucker mouth because I am an ex-trucker, but yeah, and I tried to keep it as respectable as I could, and I was like, all right, I'm done. Like, I used all the time I needed. Peace.
Yeah, I love winging it. I don't think I've ever had a pre-written thing.
Yeah, I have. I do a lot. I try not to read, but the thing is, with 3 minutes max at committee meetings, and they'll let you go long, but I feel worse about missing something I totally miss, you know, and
I hate when that happens.
Or get something out of sequence when it really made more sense the other way.
Yeah.
When I do my postmortems, I don't. But the ones that do run where there's extra time, that my best happens then as well. You know what I mean? Like when I've made my points. But as far as the presentation, it gets good when there's a little extra time. You know, if somebody actually listens to what you're saying, and you know you didn't use up your time yet. And for that, I have thumbnails like which direction I want to bounce to right away. But there's a couple of times where I was successful enough in my summation of really worked for me, and I would watch them before I'd go out and have to speak somewhere to get psyched. I'd watch where I was successful, like I'd never seen it before. You know, the one I liked best was in Albany at the Capitol on the expanse of steps they have there. Holy shit!
I mean, I think 5 or 6 minutes is more adequate. I think that should be like standard.
Yeah, you really can get a lot out in 5 or 6 minutes, and you don't have to hurry it. But you got to be a speed talker if they're going to give you like 2 minutes. You know, it's like ready.
Yeah, like they took away the 2 minutes in Sayreville. Now you only have 3 minutes. It takes me 2 minutes to complain about the 2 minutes I didn't get. So then I only have a minute left.
Okay, I got a suggestion. It might not be as good as Lefty going in with his hand up and talking about that. But you got a thing. It's like 2 minutes. Yes, 2 minutes. Really 2 minutes, and then put on below your voice, and then start talking fast, whatever you have to say, or give up your off your head and read some shit out as quick as you could. And then
like the Micro Machines guy. They're faster than the real thing.
Yeah. I don't know, just a way to add. I did like the talking about, and I pictured you doing that when I made that suggestion after they did that. I pictured you. What is it you did that worked so well? I'm getting a little high right here, but it is the purpose. Never mind. You did too many outstanding things to remember one singled out, I've never seen anybody's Christianity called out where they didn't have anything to say. But I didn't know they started. Yeah, I didn't know it started with a prayer. That would have been even funnier knowing that.
I like that Christo spoke during the resolutions and just basically was like, I don't support any of these. He's like, I'm against every one of these.
Yeah, he starts reading them. Off.
And they're all flipping pages. He's like, I'm against Ordinance 230-12. They're all like flipping pages as he's saying them one by one. This is great.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I see that happen at meetings sometimes, where they start citing things and everybody has to look, The funniest thing I ever saw, though, quick little sidebar, not exactly sidebar, was when David Wildstein was being grilled at a committee hearing about the Christie and the Cones and everything, and he was taking the fifth 143 times. So they would ask him a question, and they'd be talking about something specific, and everybody would do that, and he'd always talk to his lawyer and find how many ways you could say on the advice of my lawyer, I'm pleading fifth. I'm not going to have anything to say. So many ways. So I was behind them where I would be in the camera shot for major TVs. Actually, in one I saw, somebody had their hand up, when like the guy speaking, and when he put it down, that was me right behind it. It was like watching it on MSNBC, But what happened is they kept getting ready all day. So as they would ask the question, I'd lean forward and mime like, okay, good question. Okay, good question. And I'd be doing like this. And then when he'd plead, I'd go, because I got to do all that. And I never saw any of that played, But I don't know, kind of fun taking part. I wish you could do this kind of stuff at committee hearings. That would be awesome if they let you. Not swearing and all that, even though you'd have the right to do it somehow or can you do that? Is there some sort of rule? Because really, they're just an advanced direction of a council meeting.
Still Robert's rules.
Is it really?
It's messed up that they cited safety concerns for shutting the meeting down, because that's wrong. We came out to speak, and it's a pretty. Hey, I know what it's like getting arrested in front of a room of people and people on a council, and no one doing a damn thing about it, not caring that it's unlawful. We're at a council meeting. We're there to speak, and they shut down the meeting. I still can't believe they did that. But there's a lot of other things at play. Elections right around the corner. Former councilman Conti and Novak, they were there last week to confront the mayor, along with a couple other residents. The mayor's trying to tear down the historical firehouse / town hall. That's an issue with a lot of residents. So last week when they shut that meeting down, the mayor was going to be confronted by a lot of people who were coming after him that night. So it worked out well that he said that for safety reasons they were going to shut the meeting down. there was a lot of other things that he didn't want to face that night. It wasn't just about us being there.
Yeah, I don't think that guy Ken likes him very much.
No, Ken was there to grill him, and Ken pointed out the fact that during all that stuff with the strip club, it was all under the mayor's jurisdiction. He was the mayor at the time when all that stuff was going on, and the mayor tries to pretend like it was that all that stuff happened under Kilpatrick's administration, and it didn't.
Didn't he also say that the police chief was also involved with that shit too?
Dombrowski was the police chief during that time. Yeah. And Conti knew when he brought that up. He knows that we don't love Dombrowski. They're pointing out all these things that people should be asking these questions. These were the people in charge during that time.
And they're in charge still. That's the craziest part.
And that's why I say that Saraville went from the worst chief to the first. Went from the worst to the first. Chief Dan is great. I ran into him at a Saraville. Me and Lefty were there one time. Lefty was out in the parking lot. I went to go to the bathroom. And I run into Chief Dan, and he's like, I love what you guys do. I love that you guys keep the council on their toes. I love that you guys redress your grievances with government.
Here, check this out. This is
these
Ken.
cops are good. These cops know what they're doing. They're on the ball. They're squared away, and the mayor is giving them a bad order.
So I'm grateful that the police got it right. Two thumbs up for Sarah. Chief Dan, we love you.
A lot of people don't understand that strip club and all the problems with that. You know who was mayor during that? He was the mayor.
Yes.
When they talk about Palando and the corruption, he was the mayor at that time.
I'm coming back.
He was the mayor at that time. You look at that. He was the mayor when they had parked the 75, 80 trailers illegally and blamed Palando. Well, I'm not saying he was to blame. Well, where was the mayor? Was he sleeping, or was he in cahoots with Palando? He was the mayor. He acts like that was corruption under them. That was corruption under him because he was the mayor. You look at it; it's absolutely true. I know a woman who went and talked to him about all those trailers, and he said, "Oh, I'll take care of it." He was the mayor.
And Ken, I do believe that Dombrowski was the chief at the time. Dombrowski was also the chief at the time.
That's what he said. I was questioning that. They were under jurisdiction. Palando wasn't a public official. Palando wasn't a public official.
But come on, everybody.
If she's a borough attorney, she should.
Oh boy. What a
Now,
mess.
it's funny. They shut that meeting down, right? But you had like 1,000 views on your video. Christo had like 1,000 views. More people watched that meeting that got shut down that would have watched the meeting online had it just went on. If you watch the Saraville council meeting, within 24 hours, there's only a couple hundred views. So it's funny that shutting the meeting down actually got more attention because all the people in the Saraville community page, they all watched those videos. And they were all actually on our side. There's a lot of people in the town who were on our side because we hadn't done anything. You don't have to identify yourself in the hallway before a meeting. The whole thing was ridiculous.
Yeah, this was in the hallway. This wasn't even inside the room, which doesn't matter either. But the hallway. We get out of the elevator, and he's like, "Who are you? Give me some ID. Let me see your papers."
It's not Nazi Germany, bro.
Real, treating it like Anne fucking Frank.
But yeah, we had a lot of the residents were on our side with that. I mean, how could you not? It's kind of black and white.
Okay, there's that blowback that happens, like you, Lefty, you were reading off all these negative comments and laughing about them. Where is that response to last night? In other words, what is that, like a township site that people write their comments on?
Yeah, let's see. Did Saraville? Let's see.
Saraville has commenting turned off on their YouTube page.
Not surprised.
That's funny.
Yeah, wow. Gary Sage got the DARE program to take down their a little bulletin board thing on their DARE page because he kept them busy with. They had to keep taking shit off. That's really cool. Had perfect things to say, and he did it for like 2 weeks straight, and they just took the whole bulletin board down. He was more trouble than they were worth. So taking part. They don't want. I'd like to hear the comments. I mean, why would they be shut down? Is it because they would be favorable?
That's
they wouldn't want a lot of people saying, "Good job, hold them accountable." Well,
I think it's nuts. I think it's nuts that the last meeting when me, Lefty, and Crystal went to Edison, not the last meeting, but the one before that, where I played the harmonica and Lefty, they made him remove his mask and it had tape on his forehead saying Patel is a commie.
Yeah,
that's the last meeting that for years and years and years, they've always had all the camera angles facing everyone. Now Edison only has the camera angle focused on the dais. There is no record, no visual record of anyone at the podium now.
Well, yeah, look, I marveled at all the good views they have because a lot of people only have a one angle thing. They just want to fulfill the obligation to make it public. They're under no obligation to give you a really good view of anything. So the fact that while I was watching that the first time I saw it, I'm like, look there's multiple views. I thought I couldn't figure it out because I didn't assume it was them, and but then that changed pretty quick, because they made you guys look real good with all the camera angles.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's nice equipment, and that's my good use of tax dollars.
Yeah,
being able to cut those edits.
Hey, Jim.
Any other comments?
Jim, before all this, right?
Mayor, council.
Cristo!
Hey, what's up, guys? The people that used to run Edison TV, they were such professionals. They don't work there anymore. As soon as Mayor Sam Joshi took over, but I remember in the early 90s, like the Durham Woods explosion, they ran out with their cameras, recorded it, and became legends just on that story alone. So, they had a lot of integrity and they really respected when it came to recording and getting the right angles. And you don't see that anymore.
It's like they had nothing to hide.
I just want to say I'm remaining anonymous. That's what I did the last 4 times I came to Sayreville. Each time it was a different borough attorney for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm not so sure why last time it was going to be any kind of an issue. The reason why, when you go to Trenton, it's optional because the state doesn't want to play those games. We have freedom of speech in this country, Mr. Mayor. People have fought for those freedoms, and you can't force someone's speech by making them tell you their personal sensitive information about who they are and where they're from. That's not the way any of this works. You might run the meeting, but you don't run anyone's life. So this song is called the Anonymous Anthem.
Can't really hear the music on this cut.
And I never get my address. I don't want to be dealing.
Oh, I hear that. Okay, you know what? Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's why I never posted that one.
You can use my video.
Yeah, I'll
that's
play
why.
that one.
Yeah, I posted Christo's video because it had me with everything else was choppy. You can't hear my music on there, and the YouTube feed was choppy. But Christo's recording came out good.
Really? Yeah, I noticed that. I looked at that earlier, and I wished I could hear it better because I've heard it. I mean, I've heard you do that before wherever I heard it.
See if you can put Christo's video on, Lefty.
Hold on, I got mine here. I think mine will be all right.
Hey,
yours
what's
is
up,
choppy.
Brandon,
is it choppy too? Oh.
Yeah.
God.
Brandon, you can join the show too, right? Hell yeah. Maybe in a little bit we can show also the Lavalette video.
Yeah.
But it sure ain't Jesus.
Let's see. Can you hear this? Can you see this? Probably not.
Are there any other questions? Yes. Any other comments?
Let's see. I got a good view at least from here. Yeah, it doesn't look too good though. It's a little fuzzy.
That's what I did the last 4 times I came to Sayreville. Each time was a different borough attorney for whatever reason, I don't know. I'm not so sure why last time it was going to be any kind of an issue. The reason why, when you go to Trenton, it's optional because the state doesn't want to play those games. We have freedom of speech in this country, Mr. Mayor. People fought for those freedoms, and you can't force someone's speech by making them tell you their personal sensitive information about who they are and where they're from. That's not the way any of this works. You might run the meeting, but you don't run anyone's life. So this song is called The Anonymous Anthem.
And I never give name, and I never give my address. I don't want to be dealing with the madness. The road to live on, the part of town I'm out from isn't even this. Want to see rich system. I'm just gonna drop bombs and shoot missiles. Corrupt government officials. I'll be taking up with the crazy. What the heck am I writing in your couple checks? You think I ain't serious? Or I'm delirious. You're the ones whose actions are nefarious. What's his name? We don't know. Put me down as good citizen, or put me down as John Doe. You don't need my name. You don't need my address. You don't need to know any of my sentences. My daily grind and always try. All the time, government trying to take what's mine. Can you make sense of it? My disinformation is personal and sensitive. And I'm never going to exchange before to exercise my First Amendment. And I never give my name. And I never give my address. And that's the way it will remain. I never name. And I never give my address. That's the way it's going to be. Every time that I speak.
All the way down to 0. All the way down to 0.
I played the harmonica better in Edison.
What's his name? I don't know. Put him down as John Doe.
Put me down as good citizen, or put me down as John Doe.
What's going on in Jackson tonight? Jackson? I don't know.
Support freedom.
Short Points Audit says, is anyone able to come and support freedom and liberty to fight for your something in Jackson tonight? What's in Jackson?
I'm going to Jackson. I'm going to Jackson.
I'm going to mess around.
Yeah, what's going on with Jackson?
Down in Jackson Town.
I'm going to Jackson.
No, I got to play that song later.
I know, now it's in my head.
No, you don't.
Yes,
you know what's funny is every time when Lefty, when you do the wheelchair, when you do the laps, ever since you were doing the Billy Preston song, every time I watch the videos now, all I hear in my head is, will it go around in circles? Will it go fly like a bird up in the sky? Will it go?
It's in my head too. As soon as I hit the intersection, I start my laps. Here we go, around in circles.
Will it go around in circles?
Bird up in the sky. And then
I used to have a dog. I used to have a dog, Wilson, and I used to say, Willie goes around in circles when he would chase his tail.
Well, I used to use a different song if I was on a long journey of any kind or doing something, not necessarily physically, but it was, I got 5 more miles to go now, and my feet are hurting mighty bad. Everybody's got their songs, I get to sing that more than a couple times.
Solid as a rock.
Anyway, I'm gonna be posting the video of the Sayreville experience. I thought it was really well done across the board, but the real explosion was Lefty's middle segment. It was like a sandwich of some sort of testimony, and it went well together. But I don't know, man, Lefty. I haven't seen anybody stand that close to the edge of a really good wave like that surfing metaphor. You used your time there to. I don't know that I've ever reached that kind of I'd say crescendo, but it was one big thing. It didn't really have a specific high point. What you did. Sue, did you see Lefty's righteous indignation at the Sayreville meeting? You got to see it. You will agree. It was I've never seen anything like it. I've never, it was like catching a wave. Everything worked right, and
that was Sayreville.
Yeah, about Zoom access, highlighting what that means to people who have disabilities, like the mayor's son, not knowing even what his disability was, using one's own Christianity or lack of using it because they start with a prayer, and then Lefty's got 68% of Jesus' miracles were for the disabled. I hope to use that one day. And the other what you quoted, but it was dramatic. It got from me at least 3 or 4 O's. Lefty, could you run that part? I mean,
Yeah, put your thing up there, Lefty. You.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like I was taken back by it in a good way.
Let's see.
Come on, I can't build it up no more, man. Okay. Let's go to the videotape here.
I was praying that he was going to say, "Does your husband know that you're playing patty cake with a stranger?" I was hoping you were going to say that. That's so funny.
It was effective. There was absolutely no movement from the council when the camera was on them.
Okay.
Yeah, stiff boards.
Okay, here we go. I'll mute myself.
I'm El Rampador. I have my hand up. Had my hand up since August, since I was at this meeting. I went to a Zoom meeting, and they said that Kennedy O'Brien took away Zoom access for the disabled vets. I said, no. I said, there's Zoom access. I'm going to go to the meeting tonight. I went on the Zoom meeting, and I'm going to raise and lower my hand now. But this one here in the black was playing patty cake with me. Literally, I raised my hand, and she would lower my hand. I would raise my hand, and she would lower my hand. I would raise my hand, and she would lower my hand. For 20 minutes, she did this. She had the energy to take away my First Amendment right when it would take less energy to let me speak and enjoy my First Amendment right. So this woman, I don't know her name, but she's going to be named in my tort claim as well as the rest of you because you took away my First Amendment rights. You took away rights for the disabled. Now, what's funny is you'll use disabled vets. You use vets for political theater, but you take their disabled vets' access away. And from what I understand, you have a disabled son, and which really, I'm wondering what the disconnect is, because you took away rights for your disabled son to take part in your meeting. Now, if your son is verbal, I don't know if he's verbal, but if he's verbal, when you go home tonight, he should tell you, Pops, you took disabled rights are human rights. Disabled rights are human rights. Tell him. Disability rights are human rights. You should know that. 68% of Jesus' miracles were for the disabled. Where is your energy at? Where is your energy for the disabled? There's a disconnect here. I want to know what it is, because I fight for disabled people. I fight for disabled vets. You use them for political theater. I saw it. I was disgusted by that. You took away Zoom access. For 19 months, you gave disabled vets Zoom access. Disabled vets have been asking for access for years, for church, online school, online counsel, and they gave it to us. For 19 months, you gave all the cancer patients, the MS patients, you gave us disabled access. And then you took it away. You took it away. You.
You had it under the last mayor, but you took it away. Why was it taken away? Why was disability rights taken away? Your own son can't take part in these meetings, and his caregiver. How dare you? I'm fighting for your son. And people like him, and disabled vets, and people that are in their deathbed that can't take part. Ephesians 6:12 says we are not a struggle against blood and flesh, but against the authorities, against the rulers of this dark world. And that's you. That is you. Absolutely disgusting display of Christianity and compassion for the disabled. I don't know who you're praying to, but it sure ain't Jesus.
Take that. I'm done with you.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Right?
Yeah. Good job, Lefty. Good job, man.
Listen.
Good job, Lefty.
Really, Lefty. I am impressed.
I saw that twice already before this. First time I watched it, second time I made Kathy watch it, and I didn't want to hurt my shoulder, so I started going like this right before he did that, because I knew I was going to do it with him, and I would have pulled the muscle. What's Jim doing? You. It was like it was like you can't stand the truth moment. It was like really, but right within bounds too.
Hey, Mike, you want to be our guest tomorrow night?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Our guest is going to be Holio.
It's the first time I don't have to research somebody.
Seriously, I have a nurse in line, but you know what? I'd love to get you on there. Okay. All right. Will you do it? Okay.
Heck yeah.
You make me a happy woman.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. See, Jim, now you don't have to look anything up.
No, I know. Well, it's just so everybody knows, I'm not a natural like some people, and I really like to know. I don't want to be doing a podcast tasked with interacting with somebody I know nothing about except what I learn myself on the podcast I'm on, and I find it fascinating, and then it comes in good because it'd be like somebody listed saying something, and I go, "Oh, hey, you forgot," and something that they forgot because I just watched the podcast they were on somewhere else right before getting on the podcast, and I've heard this before, and added something to it. And
how did you like Dave last week? Did you like him?
I did.
He was good, wasn't he?
Yeah, I did. I liked him personally a lot too.
He's a good guy.
That was like fun for me. I mean, I don't know about like how to line people up in any relativity to each other on the podcast, and I seem to enjoy them all. But I don't know. He fit right in, and
he did. Yeah. Well, he's from Jersey.
Yeah. Well, then he kind of understood too.
Yeah, and I know he knows me all his life.
There's something else. It'd be something different about Thursday now, though. Is these are all people that have never been on a Sativa Cross podcast. I don't know what they know about Sativa Cross or not.
It's what I tell them.
Yeah, well, one time early on, it was like, oh, it's okay to smoke on the podcast. Oh, yeah. Of course it is. Oh, it was early on. I could remember if I had the list of everybody, I'd be able to point it out.
Yeah, it's a long list.
Yeah, well, it was somebody that did podcasts quite a bit, to where it was kind of a pleasure. But I also like watching people get to know us.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
Because they come around. You see it. It's like you can only stand so much of us before you're like leaning into it.
Yeah. Yeah, they love you guys. They really do.
Look, I'm really late for something. I'd expect to be, and be like, oh hell, we went like 2 hours with that. Oh, oops. Or and again, I gotta remember who was who, because I remember what I enjoyed about it, where it was like, how long do we go on? We go on as long as we want. We're having a good
And
time.
that's what I tell everybody too. Beforehand, I tell them, listen, talk as long as you want about whatever you want,
Yeah.
And don't worry about it.
Then I also sometimes will talking about something very astute coming from any one of us, and how when somebody finds a little more out about Lefty and the backdrop of where he is and doing things, it's like, this guy's really out there. And then he goes and says, let's do something smart and topical on top of it. And you sort of see it in actions like, oh, or just knowing something. And then occasionally, because I've been around a long time, I come up with a reference to something that's from a while back, and it would be somebody that goes that far back. I'm looking right at them. This is a Zoom meeting. You can't tell if I'm looking at you now, but I get to look at whoever I want, and they don't know. So it's a really learning process. Is why I love, especially the Thursday night format.
Yeah, and I try. I try to find people that are gonna. We're all gonna blend, and that's and they're all people I know, so that makes it easy for me.
Yeah. Well,
you guys have consistently had a lot of good guests, consistently.
Say thank you, Sue.
Yeah.
That's all. Oh, good job, Sue.
Thank you, Sue.
I like when Guy,
I'm gonna have Lefty on one night.
There you go.
Really, I think Lefty, you should really be the guest one night.
Oh,
you could come on with your mask.
Hell yeah.
There's only so many of us that know about the mask, right? So the strange viewers
there's a lot of people I think that would really like to watch a replay.
Yeah.
We do that because a lot of people know Bong Holio and a lot of people know El Rampador. And a lot of people know Lefty from what they see of him, whether it's El Rampador or Lefty doing podcasts. But this is what goes well on TV. It's like Dan Rather would do an interview with somebody, an hour interview, and you'd watch because you wanted to know something about this guy. Or others. Who was it? Bradley. Ed Bradley would do it, And it would always be somebody like really famous that you would learn something about them.
Is that why you just put your mask on? Are you going to audition for us now?
I'm only going to appear as El Rampador.
That's all we want you to appear as.
Yeah, well, we're not going to ask you to take your mask off.
We're not going to disclose who you are. You got to.
Yeah, we won't Niche Patel you.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was alluding to. It's like we know better than to ask you to take your mask off on camera.
Your mask is on crooked.
Well, you could take it off and there'd be something about me on it,
There you go.
Yeah, big piece of tape on your forehead that says Jim is a dum-dum. Be like, oh.
Yeah, really. I knew you were gonna ask again.
Milky liquor.
Milky liquor.
We got to poker sometime. You know?
Didn't you actually tell that? Didn't you actually tell the Didn't you tell the council that you hope they, or you mentioned how that's from the Jerky Boys, didn't you, Lefty?
Yeah, I told him to go look it up.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
What? Tell us
Milky liquor.
It's someone who takes a Milky Way bar off the shelf, licks it, and puts it back.
He told them it was from the Jerky Boys, so one of them on the council, maybe just one of them, happened to do such a deep dive, they went down the Jerky Boys rabbit hole.
And never came back. Let their hair grow long and everything.
That's pretty funny.
Girl mustache, whatever.
I tell you, there was a moment playing the harmonica, and I'm looking at them all directly in their eyes, and I definitely had a moment where I was like, what the hell am I doing right now?
Yeah, that moment where something could be in your head so opposite of what anybody would be thinking watching the show live.
Yeah,
and
like
that trouble out of your head, like, what the hell am I doing while you're doing
I had like a 10-second moment where I'm like, what am I doing right now? Like, I've lost my mind.
Yeah, I'll enjoy it. That means that's almost the equivalent of a few times when I'm playing the guitar with Rick and my little band, and I feel what I'm playing like when I hear music. You know what I mean? To say, like, I become part of the moment, and like, holy crap, am I doing that? And then it disappears for me. But I could see you playing a harmonica, and they were so still. There wasn't hardly any movement at all. At one point, especially with both of you guys, it was they weren't going to move. You know, it was like, don't move, just don't move. You know, it's like when a bear walks too close to you, don't move. You know, you don't move, he might not look right at me. You know?
The one cop really liked it. Afterwards, the one cop said to me, he's like, man, that's the first time I ever heard a Monica solo at a council. That was cool.
Yeah. Well, you know, obviously you all know that it's not like any kind of given that the police in any township, like the town council or whatever the city, you know, sometimes they're happy to see somebody get their ass handed to them, and they try not to smile because it goes along with their way of thinking as well. You know, they don't have to.
For sure.
So,
all right, so Mikey, listen, this is what you need to do. You need to send me a picture of you.
Okay.
And a short bio.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Lefty has my email. He'll give it to you.
Lefty, you need three.
Lefty, you need to give Mikey my email. Okay.
Everybody gets the same 3 questions. It won't work with Mikey, Lefty. You can't ask Mikey. So, and I interrupt.
Yeah, and no munchy question. You can't.
How many plants? How many plants can you grow in New Jersey?
Who are you asking?
Oh, is that what somebody? You can grow as many.
Is that a trick question?
As many as you want, but not legally.
Yes, that's a setup question.
Yeah, we live in New Jersey. That's a trick question. That doesn't count.
Really?
That's a trick question, yeah.
How many can you or shall you? Will
can and may. You know,
may you? How many may you grow?
Well, that's why they got those 2 words. You know.
How many must you grow?
Yeah.
Must.
You have, like Doug Stanhope says, you have 2 kind of laws. You have laws of man and laws of nature. And he says that you don't. A law of nature is if you sit on a tack, you will bleed from the ass. You don't need to make a law that you have to look for tacks before you sit down. You know, it's a law of nature. No law will ever be necessary. You know, but I forget what I was telling you about that. This is good meeting. Yeah, it'll come back to me later. This is why I can't be a guest on anybody's show because I'll
You
forget.
can't because you talk all the time. So everybody knows you and everybody knows, about you. You're pretty popular.
There is a lot of stuff that nobody knows, though. But you know that there's a lot of stuff nobody knows.
Yeah, well, I know that too.
Yeah.
Jim is the OG.
Well, there's a lot of other words I could put with them than what I understand that to be. But it take more letters after the OG. I think it's 3 more letters, and I'll agree with it each time.
You know what I always say, Jim? I always say I'm so poor that I can't even afford the O or the R, so I'm just Poe.
Like that. Oh, just along those lines, this kind of stuff. I stopped in Lefty to see Jay because he was on his motorcycle accident. He's coming with EJ and Justin to the last podcast in Trenton, and that's why they didn't come because Jay had a guy pulled out in front of him. He messed up his leg really bad.
Is he all right?
He's got to be, but he's not. He had major injuries to a leg and just got out of the cast after a few weeks. So I went over to visit. And, I felt bad because he says, yeah, well, that happened, because we were on our way over to see your podcast. And I feel not responsible, but if I didn't invite him to the podcast, his leg would be okay right now. I feel connected, so I wanted to see. And there was a couple things I could do because he can get around on crutches, but it hurts and it's fucking with his head too, So it's good. He's only 32 minutes away. He doesn't live that far away like the rest of the hippie tribe people. But anyway, what I was saying that for is he was looking at something on his phone. He goes, "Oh, hey, listen, come here before you go," because I was on my way. He goes, "I just wanted to tell you something. Let me show you my," and he's scrolling through his contacts, and it's always first name and then whatever, like Mac the knife, and whatever. So he scrolls to the J, and it's Jim the man, and I thought, DAMAN, and I thought, oh man, he's got me listed as the man. And I didn't have the heart to tell him, while I appreciate the sentiment, whenever I've been called that to my face, my best friends know exactly what's coming. It's like, I'm not the man. I have never been the man. I've seen the man one time, but I'm not even sure of that. It's like almost it becomes a curse. Something happens if I let that get in my head. Because people do things for certain reasons, and it boils down to one thing. You guys are doing what you're doing for reasons and personal too, and you get shit done. You're driven. And what drove me was fear. It was fear. Everything I did is because I was scared. I was scared, Cheryl's situation. I was scared there's something I don't want to find out afterwards that I could have done. And it just it was consuming in a good and productive way for a long time. But it's not real special. I'm not sure if you do what you do that people appreciate because you're scared. I didn't really do it to help anybody but her. And it broadened.
Hey, we have a podcast on Halloween.
Ooh.
Really?
You guys got to dress up for the podcast.
That's my birthday.
Oh, wow.
So, a cake.
Wow.
Which
podcast? You guys should all wear masks.
Well,
I think we should. Yeah, we should all dress up as El Rampador.
Yeah.
That would be.
You guys
fun.
should all dress up for Halloween.
Well,
I got a couple of extra masks.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm going to be the same thing I always am. Then I'll be the Grim Reaper because I got my Grim Reaper costume on. I got my fake little plastic sickle.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to hide my face. I like to not hide the beard, but more almost everything else, and I make a believable Grim Reaper.
I'm sure you do. I have no doubt.
Hey, Lefty, I should. Thursday's our podcast, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I call it our minimal attendance podcast, but I'm looking forward to it. Maybe I'll bring the Grim Reaper thing. It's Halloween, and I can stand with Ratari because I'm the Grim Reaper, and he's bringing me business.
The State House. Thursday. I'm psyched, man. Halloween's coming, and we'll be at the State House this week. This is great.
Well, I was at the State House as the Grim Reaper. I probably when was that? But that wasn't. Now I got help. Now I got Ratari. I kind of belong next to him.
Yeah, you do.
You said not the guy. You're not capable of being the guy. I had a guy, but now I don't. You are not the guy. Then what the hell am I doing here? I don't know. It's not my call. I just do what I'm told. And now you're going to do what you're told, which is to sit here, shut up, and stay in the car till we finish our pickups. You got it?
That wasn't the remix. I'm looking for the remix. Hey, Mr. Duff, how are you?
If you're the Grim Reaper, Jim, then you could be the Jim Reaper.
Oh, I like it.
The Jim Reaper. The Jim Reaper.
Yeah.
Pat Duff, what's up, man?
Mayor Slayer!
Hey, Jim, if you want to be the joint Reaper, I have a 5-foot inflatable raw cone joint. You can tape the sickle to the back of it.
As it is, my Grim Reaper would be aligning myself with Senate President Ratari because he's sending me business. In other words, he's the one sending them my way, shortening the ride. So I show up looking good where I look good. That sort of imagery. But I don't know. I just picture
Mayor Slayer, what up, Pat?
Yeah, what's new? You always got something new. Got to have something. What's going on?
You're muted.
Yeah.
You're muted, Pat.
To make it, but I had my family who's all in my house, so couldn't do that. But good job. They were very tame. That's a good. A tame politician is much better than an out of control one. So that was interesting to watch. Yeah, but on my front, I'm actually looking at I'm buying a restaurant and like right near my house. So I've been very involved in that. You can't hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Anybody hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Now.
Who can't hear me?
Mikey can't hear you, but I think he's having problems.
Yeah, he just spun off.
So you're going to be opening up what kind of restaurant?
It's going to be it's right across the street from the most popular brewery in South Jersey called Tonewood. And it's going to serve, I'm going to do like breakfast, lunch, and like late food that's things, for the lunch and
you
dinner
froze.
service.
Late night, what was that one more time?
Items on my breakfast menu and like 11 or 12 items on my handheld menu, so very, very like new age kind of menu, not a massive diner menu, but everything that people will really like, so, but yeah, it's gonna be a challenge, and that's what I like. So we'll see.
I gotta say, asking you, what are you up to? Last time or one time, it'd be the same answer as this time. I could have given you 10,000 guesses, for money. If I was right, I'd get 100. I never would have guessed. Yeah, I'm buying a diner. I'm going to be off. It's like, it's why it's always interesting asking you, what brought that on? Where's the connection to?
It's the location of the diner and the fact that it wasn't being utilized properly. and I'm into trying to, I was trying to help the guy that was there. I was like, dude, you just need to stay open late, and your place will be packed, And I tried to buy it from him probably 5 times. We actually sat down and talked about it, and I told him, he was 77. I said, Tom, you're going to die peeling them fucking potatoes, man. You need to let me take over this place and just walk away. And nope, he died on his way to peel the potatoes. So I got a hold of his children, and the children and I made a deal, and going to make it happen. So, but I wanted to say, I'm actually I'm picking my son up right now, but you got what do you call it? Delran was canceled for tomorrow night, and so I'll call back and I'll give you an update after I get back with my son. Peace. Hey, bud.
So yeah, I want to know what's going on in Delran. A lot of stuff, a lot of bad stuff going on in that town.
Diner's cool though.
Yeah, that's that could be interesting. I was going to ask him, like, have somebody in mind who knows anything about diners for the working end of it. I can't imagine going through a trial and error process with something like that without having, you need to have somebody so he can concentrate on the evening part, getting through to that. I'd have to go check that out. Except I don't eat till 6. Well. Ooh, 6. I don't eat till 6:30. I don't eat till I eat. Well, I got nothing.
Sorry, I'm looking something up. I'm sorry, I'm looking something up here.
Don't ever apologize for looking things up.
No, it's just dead air, and I'm shocked to hear dead air with between you and Sue and Paco. I'm shocked.
You can't hear dead air though. How is that? It's not possible, is it? I don't like not hearing live air.
Yeah, I've heard dead air. We had the anechoic chamber at Bell Labs behind the control room. And I used to go in there. It was the quietest room in the world for many years, up until the 60s or something. Then IBM beat them. But you'd walk into this room and the pressure would just change, and you would yell, and your voice would just disappear into these huge foam triangles that were sticking out of the walls. And it was just, it was wild. You walked on chicken wire, and you couldn't hear anything. You couldn't be in there too long because you'd freak out. It was too much compression on your brain. Wild.
Where is this?
At the anechoic chamber at Bell Labs in Murray Hill. They had cool stuff there. It was right behind the control room where I was working. So I had the keys to all this stuff. So I would just go back there and just hang out. Get high and go in the anechoic chamber and just yell. Ah! You couldn't hear anything. It was so funny. They would do tests in there, tests for radio waves. They had all kinds of equipment sometimes in there or not. Sometimes it was empty. And there'd be all kinds of stuff on the floor like money because people would just bounce on the chicken wire, go in there, and they would drop their change on the floor and stuff. And okay.
So the chicken wires so that you can get people's change when they drop it?
I guess so, man. You would walk on this chicken wire and it was bouncy. So it was kind of fun to be in there.
Well, there's a ride at the Seaside Boardwalk where there's like a Ferris wheel thing, but in cars that also spun around. It was oblong rather, and you could just go down underneath that because coins would fall and get through the boardwalk. You just go there on any, Sunday morning and find change.
Yeah, any loop ride, you just hang out and wait for money. Or puke. Watch out for puke. You never know. People will be...
Well, as a young, enterprising 9th grader, I found a friend of mine, you could get up under the boardwalk, right up towards the concession stands, and you might only have about 10 inches, 12 inches to the sand right up there, but that's where people drop money and nobody ever gets it. I mean, if you had a metal detector, ooh, I wonder if people ever do that. I got to get a metal detector and do it now as an adult, like 60 years later. Yeah, we get a lot of stuff. And, when you're that age, you do funny stuff like take a little sliver of wood and somebody's bare feet, you just sort of touch the bottom of their foot. It'll freak out,
Wildwood, New Jersey used to have a ride called the Salt and Pepper Shaker. I think it was off Maury's Pier. Same thing, you'd find all kinds of money under there.
Yeah.
And then also the bleachers at the racetrack. The bleachers at the racetrack.
Ooh,
there we go.
Yeah.
That's a good one. A lot of cigar butts. Just saying. And blunts nowadays. Now there's blunt. Jeff Oaks got the Monmouth Park to allow cannabis to be smoked.
That was a really big day in my life.
That was a wild day, man. That was
what kind of happenstance was that Kathy and me would be at Monmouth for the Hippie Fest because my brother had a table there, and you were there for whatever, I guess Hippie Fest is where it sort of started, where Jeff had his joint and the woman working for with a band tried to grab it from him and a whole thing. But how did you know to look for me? How did you know I was there even? Because I'm ready to make a horse racing bet, and Kathy somewhere else, and I hear Jim, they're about to arrest Jeff. And it's like, Lefty, what the hell are you? What's going on? What were the odds of that?
Your brother was there.
Well, yeah, but that's why I was there. So, but when it came back, that the whole thing had already adjudicated itself. It was weird because I expected one thing, and what I saw was inside, not out where everybody is, around the little round tables people can stand at, and it's not up by where you're making the bets, and it's pretty close to the doors. And Jeff and company are here, and there's 3 people, authority figures, about, I don't know, 18, 20 feet away. And you were there.
Yeah, some lady pulled a joint out of his mouth, right? Didn't she pull the joint out of his mouth?
Well, yeah, as he was doing that, and that's what started it all. But I'm not sure exactly how it ended while you were getting me. But now I'm coming up, being brought in, and I went over and asked Jeff, like, all I want to know is, did things work out to your satisfaction? And he goes, actually, yeah, they did good. And real quick thing. What was fun is I was sort of brought in, and I had a coalition card in my hand, trying to look like I knew what I was doing. Maybe I was some sort of lawyer out at the track, and because lawyers can look kind of weird. And I kind of approached him with that demeanor. It was fun because they were almost like defensive, and I, without handing it to him, said, I understand from Jeff that things worked out to his satisfaction. And then I gave him my card, and it was almost like a sigh of relief. It wasn't going to be anything else going on. But it was so straightened out. And then I really got to know Jeff better by his reaction to how proud security was when they came back and made sure, okay, we talked to her about that. And Jeff was like, oh, no, I don't want her in trouble. That wasn't the point. No, she was, and he went right to her defense, that person that had just done that. It was his natural way of being because everything worked out. But then it also worked out good for me because I knew I could look like really cool about an hour later when the sun had, or a couple hours later, and the sun had set and they had like a reggae band on. And there's all the people between, where they're just on the other side of the fence, where the track is, where I was back up more towards the building. There's a lot of people there. There's security standing about like maybe 8 feet to the side of me, and there was a thinner crowd back there, so nobody had trouble seeing me whip out a big joint and light it up. And I could feel, it was palpable, feeling people around me going, what the fuck's he doing? He's right there. He's right there, And so I sort of looked over, and it was somebody we'd already had communication with, and he looked away, and I looked away, and I think everybody thought I was like somebody, because I could get away with it, and they were trying to figure out who I was or something. And then I left real mysterious like. Anyway, that was yeah, and we left. I was there for something with you. I think Jeff was going to be there, but he couldn't. It wasn't well enough at the track, and you were making some bets on rugby or mixed martial arts. I think it was.
Yeah, UFC.
Yeah, and we went out to smoke and casually were able to okay, yeah, we're patients with cars. We're going out to have a smoke. Good. Oh yeah, good. That's good. So yeah, Jeff got that done just by being Jeff.
Is that the freehold track?
Yeah. No, that's a
Monmouth.
Yeah.
They're closing the freehold track apparently.
Yeah, that's been sold. Yeah, it's going to be done. That's the longest continuously running track in the country.
Yep.
I heard that. I thought it was only the I know it's a half mile. I used to go there a lot because you could be like 17. They wouldn't ask you how old you were. You had to be 21 to make a bet, I think it was. But I found it pretty interesting.
Lefty, can you make sure Mikey is going to do tomorrow night? Because I think Thursday night, because I just canceled Jody.
Okay.
I told Jody to do the following week, okay?
Thursday night with us.
Yeah, Mikey Thursday night with us, and then I just moved Jody over to the following Thursday.
And if something happened to Mikey, we're doing you. Yeah,
Well, hopefully he can come into the studio because that would be nice if he was here.
Yeah, that would be really good if he could do that.
He's not far. Yeah, he's not far from here.
Otherwise, we'll have to have Adam.
What?
Yes.
Sorry.
This app. You're going to be a guest. You're going to be a guest.
On what? On the podcast?
Yeah, the Thursday podcast. Sue is the guest moderator all by herself, and it's been really going good. It's not like as freewheeling as this. It kind of will deteriorate into it or rise above it one way or the other. But I tell you, we're on a streak of really marketable shit going on
Yeah, we do.
For
Yeah, we
real.
have a lot of good people. You know what? And once the election is over, I have like a slew of really good people to come on. I have a couple of lawyers that'll come on, cannabis lawyers and stuff. So that'll be good. But we got to make it through this election.
And in the end, this is all part of a body of work. Lefties getting together, So like the people that would look at that would really love to see that diversity where it's somebody kind of like us, but that everybody's kind of knows. I mean, Bong Holio's
That's why I thought Mikey would be good, right?
Yeah, well,
Everybody knows who he is.
Mikey would be good, but he's Bong Holio without the bong, I mean, so people know, AKA,
Not everybody knows.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's I remember one time.
I think he should come on with the bong on. No.
That's a lot of. I can understand what one. He's not going to be sitting down.
He can sit down.
Can that?
Will he be? Yeah, he'll be able to sit in it.
No,
I don't know. That big ass tube. I feel like it's pretty awkward to try to sit in that thing.
Could put him down and roll him around.
I mean, yeah, if we lay him down,
knock him down and.
Oh, look! Yeah, Lefty's got it. Lefty's going to put it on.
Yes, I'd like to see that. Sue said you're going to put that on.
Sitting?
Like Lisa. Yeah.
Let me see. Can you put it on and sit down with it?
No.
I've seen Mikey put it on. It's like you got to know how to get in. I mean,
maybe if he sat on the ground and his face was at like the table level, maybe. It'd be uncomfortable, but
Tell Lefty he can't do something. This is what you get.
oh, he's got a sitting bong. I didn't know he had a sitting bong. Yeah, that one's half the size. Yeah, that one's half the size, so it's definitely sittable for sure. Okay.
This is the best I can do.
That's it. Okay. That's good. I like it.
I can't hear. I can't hear nothing.
You can't hear.
I think I'm stuck. I think I got to call the fire department. I'm literally stuck in here.
No, you got to put your arms straight up.
Well, Lefty, too, you want to have ready at your disposal a couple short, interesting Bongholio clips. Let's go to the videotape here. And something.
Yeah, let's make this fun.
Well, because that shows Bongholio in action, and you come back. This is what I would expect to see in a regular podcast, and it's funny because Sue knows that when we're doing this, and we have a guest on that does what I call regular podcasts, there's a difference. We overlap.
Big difference.
No, we overlap where the information is in a way. But I know that because a lot of your guests have done other podcasts, and I look at them and I find them on another podcast, and I see it's sort of like, so when you got started, you were and could you elaborate? And it's like you're in a box, sort of, sometimes. And we don't, we allow more free range answers.
And that's what I tell everybody. I always say, it's really laid back. You're going to have fun.
We induce it. We don't. That's not our way we try to be. It's just that it's the way we roll. We roll, especially if you knock them over and roll them.
Yeah. And then one time in between the holidays, maybe Paco will be a guest with his
looking from different directions at the same thing is a good podcast.
Yeah.
Yes,
but Paco, you could come on during the holidays with your contraption.
What contraption?
your science project over there.
Oh, my bongs. You want to see something even crazier?
It's like a science project.
No, this is just for recirculation and airflow. But you want to see them?
I know. I've seen them in dispensaries. There's none.
You want to see this one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
Hold on. Let me do a solo on this one. Look at that.
That's really cute.
Yeah, I gotta take off the virtual background because it's blurring it on purpose. So bear with me just 1 second. So this one is a little alien, and the little staff comes off.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's really cute.
And then you hit it from his head here. So yeah,
very
cool.
very creative.
Yeah, this is like one of those like artistic smokable devices.
Bongatron.
See, you could do like a whole informational segment of
hurry up
on the podcast of your contraptions, of your projects here.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's a real science project.
Yeah, but this one's a nice collectible one. It's
that's awesome. I like that.
The reason why I got it because it's like, oh man, like I like sci-fi stuff, so I was like, oh, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's fun. I like that one.
Yeah, but it's like it has like that sweet little alien egg and stuff. So that one's pretty cool. Works pretty nice though.
Yeah, I'm getting.
Yeah, this is just how I medicate.
Very good.
I'm getting to the dinner time, so I'm gonna have to take my.
Yeah, I gotta go too. I got grandkids to feed and a husband to feed. All right, so I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Hey, I'm out of here myself. So thank you all, and I guess I'll talk to you on Thursday, everyone. At Trenton, in Trenton with Ratari. Don't forget.
Okay. See you then. Bye.
Good luck, Short Point audits.
And don't forget to remind Mikey to send me a picture and a bio. Otherwise, he's on Facebook, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, then I could just copy him off of there. Okay. Bye.
Thank you, SJB. Thank you, John Wick, Short Points, everybody who's on here. Thank you all, Marina, Teresa, Timothy, Chris, everyone. Wow, we had a lot of people on here tonight. Hit y'all later. See you on the podcast Thursday. Have a great night.
Don't miss.